Let's review a little bit sine, cosine. Graph two cycles of sine, give the domain and range. So sine, remember, the period is 2 pi. So one cycle will be up to 2 pi. So if we did like a half pi here, pi over 2, and 1 pi, and 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, that would give us one positive cycle. We can go ahead and just take it over to the negatives. Negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2, and negative 2 pi. So remember, sine starts at the center of the graph. So let's call this 1, and we'll call this negative 1. Sine starts right at your center line, then it dips up to the maximum. Remember, you check your amplitude, and the basic sine graph just has an amplitude of 1. It dips back to center, down to our minimum point, and back to center. So this would be one full cycle. And then if we took it back, down here, center, up here, center. That would show our second cycle. Right? There's 2 complete cycles of sine. Remember, sine has a period of 2 pi, just like cosine. So now we're going to do the same thing with cosine. Pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. We'll take it negative as well. Our second cycle. The only difference with cosine is cosine starts with the maximum point. It starts with your highest amount. So we'll start at 1 and then dip down to 0 to negative 1, 0, 1. This would be one full cycle. If we took it back, 0, the lowest point, 0, the highest point. Here would be cycle number 2. Tangent is going to look a little wild by comparison, but it's kind of rooted in the unit circle. So the unit circle here at 0, remember that coordinate is 1, 0. Up here at 90 degrees, or pi over 2, remember that coordinate is 0, 1. Over here at 180 degrees is pi, that coordinate is negative 1, 0. And down here at 3 pi over 2, 270 degrees, coordinate is 0, negative 1. Now remember that tangent is always y divided by x. So at 0, if I did y, 0 divided by 1, I get 0. So the tangent at 0 will be 0. At pi over 2, if I did 1 divided by 0, I get undefined. It's like, how do you graph undefined? Okay, whatever. At pi, we have 0 divided by negative 1, that's 0. And then at 3 pi over 2, we have negative 1 divided by 0. Again, you can't do that. So if we label kind of the same, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, and we took it to the negative side as well, these undefined things at 3 pi over 2 and pi over 2, these are going to be called asymptotes. They're vertical lines that our graph will technically never touch. So they're represented typically with a dashed line like that. And the way we space this out, it's every 4 lines, every 4 parts of this graph, or it's every pi. Right? So pi over 2 plus 1 pi would be 3 pi over 2. If I subtracted pi, I'd be at negative pi over 2. So there'd be another asymptote there. If I moved over another pi, there'd be one there. Great. So now, you know what? I'm running out of time, so we're going to start the next video with the rest of this.